in the top left. Up 1 game. Can he go to that winner's match? He is.
RorO.
A GSL champion, 1 of 2 in this game. More contemporary one, though. And his opponent to the bottom right is teamless.
Seed.
Really needs a win. I mean, I can't stress enough. I mean, this guy has had the hardest time in his career right now, and he's still somehow, some way able to get back into Code A every time. But for how many more times can he actually do this without a team supporting him while everyone else is in that team house environment and getting better? The amount of teamless and unknown players that get into Code A is shrinking so rapidly. You talked about this earlier. It's just like we've kind of figured out who the best players are in the GSL, and they just keep coming back.
Yeah, that's right. Well, Seed seems to be one of them as far as Code A quality goes. But I tell you what, like, if he doesn't make it into Code S, he needs to stop being picky and just join whatever team will take him, because it's too hard to go alone. Take this.
Yeah, I'd like to see, you know, for me, I feel like a team that would really, really suit him would actually be CJ Entis. He's got some good Protoss practice partners to work with there. They picked up Gumiho, someone that Seed knows well. Yeah.
Gumiho playing well, by the way, recently.
Yeah.
I'm always happy to see Gumiho do well. My favorite Terran that uses a towel to play.
You know, I don't know Seed's status in like the free agents situation, because that's always a little bit complicated with how Kespa teams pick up players. But I'd really love to see him join a great Kespa team. Now, we have a double hatch before pool going down here.
Yeah, it looks like it's actually the 2 greediest builds for this matchup. Double hatch before pool, and then hatchery gateway near Nexus. I mean, I'm sorry.
Nexus into gate.
Gateway near Nexus. There you go. These are the greediest builds in this matchup.
You know, a lot of the time a Protoss player will Nexus first into like a forge on the high ground at his ramp, because sometimes players like Sulky will just put an early pull off on you.
That's true. But this is a greedier way to do it. A little bit better for your minerals. So far these guys are pretty even.
Yeah, basically neck and neck here.
We'll see where this game goes to. I'm afraid that Seed might have like a 2-base timing planned or something. If you choose this map, though, either you have something kind of revolutionary or you have something that's not actually optimal but you feel super good with, or you know how to play this game on this map perfectly. And we saw, for instance, Zest do basically a perfect game. We've seen Son in the past do basically a perfect game here, where you go into that sky toss. You're not trying to just walk across the map and kill your opponent, because it doesn't work. And you can just kind of kill the Zerg, you know, no matter what, because the map is so big.
I feel like the biggest scary thing for a Protoss player on this map, number 1, is Mutalisk. And then number 2 is the tech switches that come after that.
Yes.
Or you know, sometimes in rare cases the tech switches into Mutalisk, but you're expecting that. So once you can deal with one of your opponent's tech switches so well that you get ahead, then you're always able to just constantly hallucination scout, just like Zest did. That eventually you're like, okay, I'm already pre-prepared for your switch back to Mutalisk with like 9 Phoenixes at home. And when your Mutalisk flying, I'm like, haha, I have already range upgraded and I got +1 on my Phoenixes. You're done. You know, you have to be one step ahead on this map.
You do. You have to be just scouting relentlessly. You have to feel what they're going to do as well. You know, my favorite thing for Zerg, though, here, and I say this every time we see this map, I really like it when people go into Ultras first, lots of Queen, Ultra Ling with great upgrades, and then switch into Mutas. Because if you start with Ultra Ling and you have a good creep spread, it's like literally a free win if they do anything stupid.
Yeah.
They walk out of their base too far one time, you're just like, oh, I won the game, sick, all right.
You force Immortals, which are a unit that is kind of lopsided. You know, Archons can do decently okay against Ultralists, but
yeah,
you know, you have to make some Immortals, and then they're not going to be useful at all against Mutalisks. And if you have a Protoss player who's maxed out, it's harder to switch composition. You can only switch after part of your army is killed. Do you have the Stargate infrastructure already set up?
Yeah.
Whereas a Zerg, all he needs is 1 Spire and however many larvae it needs.
Indeed. You have to add Stargates late game here. Like, I like to see 5 Stargates for a Protoss. When they get up 5 bases, I want to see 5 Stargates.
At least 3 is pretty standard.
At least 3, for sure. If you have less than 3, then a Mutalisk switch is very likely to kill you in late game here.
Well, let's see how this one plays out. Phoenixes are the start here for Seed. He's going to use them to scout. He's going to try to clean up Overlords. He's going to deny any further scouting from RorO. And it looks like he's planning to drop a third base here pretty soon with these gates and the Forge. I would say, yeah, +1 started now. Oh, we catch another Overlord.
He's doing actually a very good job of, if you look at the patterns his Phoenixes are flying, he's doing a great job of clearing them, because it can be actually quite difficult to find every Overlord on this map. And if like one survives, they can really check out what you're doing so easily with an Overseer a little bit later on.
It's like he knows very well exactly the paths the Overlords normally take on this map based on spawning locations.
I would think so. If this is going to be what you choose against Zerg, you better know just about everything about it, right? You got to really know the map inside out. And so far it looks like he does. Like I like his build, right? It's super greedy into Phoenixes, scout around, pick stuff off. Look at this, third Nexus very quick, like an 840 third Nexus off of Phoenixes. And what does he have for units? Like
one
a Zealot?
Yeah.
3 Zealots, okay. It's very small though.
The Zerglings do scout this, albeit a bit late. Now, he starts Roach Speed as response here, getting a Hydralisk Den. Now, this I feel is exactly what Seed wants him to do, is to try to attack with Roach Hydra.
Do you think he's going to attack?
I don't know. It seems suicidal on a map of this size, the rush distance, but it could just be that he feels like Seed might hit a 3-base timing. But regardless, he's going to go Roach Hydra and then switch into Mulas. That's kind of how this map plays out.
I like that. I think that that's a great play. Defensively, that's going to be a very strong composition, especially with opening like this, where you know that even though they may be going for Colossus, it's going to be small in number. You're going to have your Spire out well before. I think that that's a great composition for him to open up. And I even don't mind him making this big group of Speedlings just to kind of have complete map awareness and maybe slow down any pushes.
Yeah. Triple Stargate very early on here.
What do you think about the complete lack of a Robo?
It feels very Myungshik style, where you're just like, I can beat Hydras and Phoenixes.
I see what you're saying. We've seen a few other Protosses play like that recently, actually.
Yeah, I think Hero's done that a few times. It's really interesting to me because it feels risky, but it's hard for a Zerg player to identify that you've done this, especially when he's cleaned up all your Overlords on the map. And even with Overlord speed, are you really going to be able to break your way through? Now he is, it looks like, finally going to be able to come in here with the Overseer. Does he see the Stargates? I don't think he... Well, he's got to kill those Changelings. No, he sees it.
All right, he sees it. 10 Corruptors on the way. Well, I mean, if he switches into Void Rays, I guess that doesn't even matter, right? Like, I hate Corruptor against Void Ray, as many people do, I'm sure. And he adds double Robo now. Or, wait.
Robo and Twilight.
I'm sorry. I was crazy for a moment. I was like, well, why would you make 2 Robos first? That makes no sense. Okay.
Yeah, he's basically just deciding to fill out the Protoss Trinity of Tech. So, I like Seed's position a lot here because, like you said, it's very easy for him to go into Void Rays. They also synergize with the +1. He's even going to start picking off Corruptors like this. It needs to not be too overzealous about it. Because of the way Phoenixes fire and hone in, and they link targets, it's really easy to come in here and pick off a Corruptor and then fly away.
Yeah, he's actually doing a very good job with these. It's okay to trade a couple Phoenixes off to pick off some of these Corruptors, because he's flying around, he's getting a lot of scouting intel, he may be forcing more Corruptors. I really like this play right now. I'm loving how Seed is playing this map. I think already this is his best game today.
For sure, I couldn't agree more. And once he gets the Anion Pulse Crystals, if he doesn't take those Phoenixes seriously, he's going to need a lot more Corruptors than this. Or alternatively, Fungal Growth to land, which it looks like is going to be his solution here, which I do like quite a bit, because against this many Phoenixes, it's hard to commit to more Corruptors because you know the Void Rays are coming later.
Look, I think that, like, no matter what against Stargate play, you have to get Burrow and you have to get a few Infestors. Because, first off, as you said, if you catch them with a Fungal, you can just straight up win the game. But just how carefully your opponent has to play once he realizes that you have once you have that combination, it's like so much more babysitting on the units.
19 more drones on the way, which is going to put him to 99 Harvesters. He just lost a bunch, but he's
still
got
at 100.
Yeah, he's got the bank to realize that he can just preemptively add these. Yeah. He's got the larva to work with as well, even 14 spare larva as we speak. Yeah, Corruptors, we've definitely gone past that point. Like, he's he's never going to be able to have the corruptor count he needs to compete with this. Not for a long time. And I don't think he's really going to be thinking about that right now.
Well, look at his army right now. 10 queens, 5 infestors, 6 corruptors. The corruptors are almost like an afterthought at this point. The queen infestor themselves can hold off basically a huge amount of flying units.
Yeah. Order is considered as well. I wonder what the next step here is going to be for Seed. You know, Tempest seem to be a logical solution. Colossi with a low corruptor count seems tempting, but with the Ultralist transition underway, it's not really going to be too useful.
You know what? I guess because he's making the Templar Archives, that he's going to rely more heavily on Archons to make sure that it goes okay, but he's also going to need High Templars out to feedback. Yeah. Because, and that's what we were talking about.
Things like this, and he catches almost every single Phoenix, and now the sky belongs to RorO.
This is exactly what you want to do against Skytoss. That's like a slight overcommittal, and bam. The hugest punish that you could ever come up with. He's killed 20 Phoenixes so far. That's 2,000 gas.
That's a ton. And that's like 3,500 minerals, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
It's wild, so that was really well done.
It's going to lose a hatch here. It looks like, actually with these queens coming over, I think he might be able to like transfuse it back to life with roaches.
This one he's going to lose, though.
Yeah,
right? Wait, no, never mind. That's enough.
Everything is going wrong for Seed here. I really want to see if he saves his hatch. Yeah, with all those transfuses he does. Even more available. Wow.
Okay, but even though everything kind of just went wrong for him, he's got 4 bases, even though the 4th one isn't really mining yet.
And it might not survive this attack coming across the map.
Yeah, the one thing I am very afraid about is the fact that we have no Colossus out, because Colossus are going to help, first off, against the Zerglings that we have, but also they help to zone out Infestors. And if you can't zone out the Infestors, Zerg can do whatever he wants to you.
Yeah. It's true. His Corruptor count is still low, but he doesn't really need any more of those. Avoiders do well against the Ultralists, but with the Queens there, they're never really going to be able to freely target those. They shouldn't be able to. Plus Infestors. And in some rare cases, if it comes to it, infested Terrans might even pop out to help.
Maybe. You know what, though? Like, he's gone into the Ultralist tech with the Lings and the upgrades and the Infestors and some Queens, and this is like the ultimate map control. From here, Seed actually has to turtle, and not just a 200 supply. He has to turtle into not, the thing is, if you go just into 200 supply turtle, which we sometimes see, you're against 5 base Zerg. By the time you get 200, you move across, you kill their army with a good composition. They have so much money, they remax in what kills your composition, whatever that may be after the battle.
Exactly. So it's hard to stay maxed as a Protoss because,
that's why he has to turtle. Like, he has to turtle beyond 200. He has to turtle into 200, more upgrades, more production facilities, and a much bigger bank so that he can also tech switch. And
this is the position that you don't want to be in an Ultra team. You want to be the opposite. You want to be the one who's making the plays that force your opponent to react. That's what we were talking about when we talked about this map from the beginning. If you know how to prepare for your opponent's composition, if you know how to control the game, so where you're always ready for what he switches to, you have the bank, you have the infrastructure, and you're in a great spot to take the game in late game PvZ. But if the opposite is true and you lose all of your Phoenixes, 20 Phoenixes, and you lose that control of the map, it's really easy for the Zerg to take the opposite position and take control of the game.
Right now, these Lings trying to break through the rocks, and in fact, they do kill them off, so that's actually very nice. This is another headache, another thing that Seed has to watch out for.
Yeah, you might even want to consider making a pylon wall over with 2,000 minerals.
I was going to say, at the bottom of the ramp, just make a pylon wall with 2 cannons, man. It's totally fine.
It's going to bug out the Ultras quite a bit as well if they decide to attack down that path.
Yeah. It'd be a funny path for Ultras to go down. It's quite a roundabout way. But could occur.
Yeah, so. Doubt it, but you never know. Well, he's going to try to take another base over here, it seems, which he desperately needs to. And with those cannons there, cleans up the Ling run by. Not something that RorO is concerned about. He wants to free up that supply anyways. But look at the production tab. He's getting every upgrade imaginable.
Well, he's doing it right? He's adding for Colossus tech. He's getting more upgrades. He's getting more infrastructure. He's continuing to counter the composition of RorO, which actually, RorO is adding 6 Ultras to. I feel like that's overkill. What is he going to do with these extra Ultras? Yeah,
how many does he already have? Like, at least 5, right, I would say?
Yeah, he's going up to 10 to 12 Ultras easily.
That's almost too many because they can't even all fight when you have that many. They kind of bumble around into each other like this.
The thing is, he's already shown that he has Ultras, right? And do you need more than that? Because realistically, he shouldn't be able to attack in with Ultras. Ultras are like the worst Surg unit for actually attacking your opponent. They're good for crushing attacks.
Or catching, armies on the map.
I feel like just having those Ultras forces such a weird unit composition out of Seed that's enough. But
maybe the idea here, and I'm kind of stretching with this one, but maybe it's just kind of a mind game sort of thing, because he knows that Seed is probably expecting a transition into maybe even Broodlords, so he's trying to force him to think about it like, oh, what if he makes 30 mutas? Should I be making Phoenixes right now? Then suddenly 12 Ultras come in.
Maybe.
And he's got too many Phoenixes. The Phoenixes aren't helpful with the Infestors there. That's just the only thing I can think of.
Yeah. It looks like right now like he actually wants to get in here and mix it up. Should be able to force a cancel here, but I feel like he's going to be pretty well out of position. Look at these Archons actually picking off 3 Infestors already.
And he might even get these 2
4 Infestors. He got every Infestor. It's 5 Infestors basically for free.
And now all the feedbacks on the Queens and the Void Rays isolate the Ultras here. This is about as cost efficient as it gets for Seed. Let's find out exactly how RorO is going to remax. He's got 5,000 and 4,200.
They're literally
43.
Yeah, I mean, that's obvious, and there could not have been a better engagement for Seed. So it's like you have to eventually lose those units, but that's why I thought it was like, why even make the Ultras? That's like 1,200 gas that did 0 extra for that battle. 0 extra. The original Ultras would have done exactly the same amount.
Yeah.
So that was 1,200 gas wasted, but he's switching into his mutas immediately. This is obvious, so here we have Seed moving forward while making Phoenixes.
He has 7 High Templar, but with 44 Mutalisks, he can ride the storm. As long as he splits and flies through them well, doesn't take too much damage.
As long as he doesn't clump just like that. He has to be careful about this.
Yeah.
Now, there's only 1 Archon, I believe.
Yeah.
He did lose some Archons.
He's going to make 3 more, though, with those High Templar after they drop their storm. So there's going to be a time where they're morphing. And that gives RorO time to get in position.
He needs to warp home with his anti-air right now. He needs to warp to his main Nexus. But he's just walking across.
I wonder what the reason is. He might not have his Mothership Core with his army.
He does. He has it right there. He's just... maybe he has no energy? I guess that could be a possibility. I didn't really pay attention to the energy on the Mothership Core.
Something we can't check right now, but...
Well, he does have Anion Pulse Crystals, but only 3 Phoenix against 47 mutas. Good luck on that.
Well, this is just a bit sloppy, I would say. He has 4 energy on the Mothership Core. And... I mean, he loses now his Stargate infrastructure, which means Mutalisks... Oh, also the Cybernetics Core.
Yeah, that's going to make it a lot slower as well.
So the only units he can make to deal with Mutalisks for a little while here are now actually High Templar.
Well, it looks like he can chase him out for now, but he's going to lose another base, I would say. I would imagine this one's going to go down. I'm
not so sure with all those cannons and the High Templar, I think, coming back on the left side.
There's only 1 pylon actually powering so many cannons, though.
That's true.
An in-control pylon does get taken out.
Yeah. Just going to go ahead and make that Nathanius pylon to help it out.
Exactly. All right. So... let's take a look here. Over 2,000 gas right now for Seed. He's got a... like, he remade the Cybercore yet or no?
Yeah, it's done.
Okay,
he like, instantly remade it. There he goes.
Okay, there's Stargates starting up. Like, he actually should just have a lot of Stargates. He's only going in 3. Okay, yeah, there you go. I actually want to see, like, 5. I wasn't joking when I said 5 earlier, Wolf. You need to make your Phoenixes quickly.
Do you think he's going to use Neural for Archons? I mean, that's the only logical...
I think
usage, but like
you may as well get it, and yeah, why not?
It's so hard to actually close the gap on the Archons to get it. If we see a Neural and an Archon, I'll be surprised, but like I guess you might as well get it as the best explanation here.
The thing is, nothing is going to auto-target the Infestors, I would say. He's going to be trying to kill off mutas, so you can Neural either the Archons to kill any Phoenixes and or Void Rays over them, but also getting Void Rays. Void Rays kill Void Rays quicker than Void Rays kill mutas, so...
that's true.
It's pretty crazy. Not a bad choice to get it. May as well.
Trying to catch this comp. This is how this map gets played, Artos. It's just kind of ring around the rosy and then rock, paper, scissors with compositions.
It's true. That is exactly how it goes. Which is, again, I wish that he had more Stargates, as I was saying before, because he could have had more Phoenixes and not been in such a bad shape here, but... ooh! That's a good storm.
Yeah, it kills a few of his probes. He damages the Mutalisks heavily, but the thing is with the new regen rate and Heart of the Storm, they're just going to be back up to full health pretty quick here.
But, you know what? All he needs to do is buy time, because he is on 5 bases, which means he has enough gas to get enough Phoenixes to still be in this game. In fact, he forced a cancel on that top right base that was going down in that really awkward position, so that's actually really important right now. And he's sending units to the bottom left one as well. Wow! Wow, Seed's really on top of where RorO wants to expand.
Yeah, I think he just keeps sending hallucinations. He's just always on top of exactly where they are.
Oh, the mutas are right nearby. A little bit unlucky for Seed. That would have been a fantastic kill.
And in fact, you know, he doesn't have any sentries. I wonder how he's spotting these. Maybe it's just game sense. Maybe he's just sending these group of marauding zealots around. One thing I wouldn't be surprised that we see coming up here with the 2200 mineral bank is a warp prism to start maybe sniping some tech, because there's not a whole lot of static defense here for RorO. As you can see, like, he has spores but not a lot of spines, so he could just warp in the rounds of 6-7 zealots at a time, try to target down these hatches, maybe kill the spire, you know, some of the other tech.
I have to agree with you on that. That would be like a nice little addition for C to be doing right now.
Oh my god, that's a very expensive loss here, but the Phoenix is now joined up. Can he hit a storm here? No, doesn't look like it.
His army a little bit off there. Actually ends up doing an okay amount of damage.
It's so funny for him to actually try to commit here, because the High Templar just barely out of range for a storm. There it is!
Yeah, there's some very nice storms, but you know what? I feel like Zerg, well, you know what? He blinks up and he's going to kill every infestor. I guess that was actually kind of okay for both sides, because Seed killed a lot there, a lot of gas, but, you know, the thing is, RorO can trade at a little bit of a deficit still, I think, because he's got way more mobility. He's already basically maxed his upgrades, and he's been mining from all these bases for so long, so he still has a very strong gas bank.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the funny thing is that the DTs here could actually... Well, let's see how much damage they do, because I talked about the spores earlier. You know how he has those, but he's totally prepared for DTs. I want to see that warp prism, man. I just keep thinking about it. Now he doesn't have the bank to utilize that as well as he could.
He might be like saving up a little bit extra, because he knows he's going to have to take another base soon. He's getting way too stretched out. It's getting to that situation where like a dedicated Mutalisk swarm will kill bases no matter what.
It's also, going back to the warp prism, you know, kind of risky to try to get that out with so many mutas on the map. Can you actually get past all the creep and the overlords on the map to get in there and do the damage? This will kill this hatchery this time.
Yeah, that's a very nice snipe. He's actually done a very good job of keeping RorO's bases lower than they should be. Also, we have Ultras out on the map again that we really should bring up. And look at this, Seed is starting Immortals. So he's actually doing a pretty darn good job of staying on top of countering everything.
Yeah. Let's see, he has still 17 gates on the map. And I'm just looking at numbers right now, Artosis, because the bank for Seed is now gone. RorO's, despite the fact that he's lost these bases, he's been more cost efficient. He's never had like these terrible engagements where he loses all of his, you know, mutas or something like that. He's been pretty good about that. So he's still managed to keep a better bank. And I think like the plan here is starting to become for him to just starve Seed out eventually by killing all the bases, which is going to take forever on this map. But
it is. But is there a better way to do this? You can't just engage with, like, what is this composition that RorO has right now? It's like half Muta, half Ultra Ling Infestor.
I feel like the best answer to that question is he can't force an engagement on his own, but what he can do is eventually force Seed to move out and then try to take an engagement that way.
Okay.
You know, like what he's kind of doing right now, he's starting to realize, okay, he's just got this composition, he just keeps poking me in the backside, I can't get another base, I need to actually just move out because I have an army that can beat his, and maybe it takes him too long to remax, and I win the game. He has 7 High Templars, 16 Phoenixes, he's got the 5 Archons, which are going to work well with those Immortals that help deal with those.
You know, if these battles go one way or the other, like these battles could go grossly well for Seed. He has the right composition. He could do so well in one of these battles. I think RorO might be messing up just slightly by not having his Mutalisks back a little bit more. But the thing is, what I would love to see most of all, more than anything, burrow 2 Infestors, send them down toward a base, eventually fly the Mutas down there when you think the Phoenixes aren't nearby. But if they are nearby, you have the 2 Infestors there to maybe get you like an insane fungal or 2.
That would be like a genius play. Not like the player genius, but that would be quite ingenious.
It has nothing to do with the Void Rail, and so certainly nothing to do with genius the player.
But you know, even sending infestors around to try to like kill probes would be not a bad idea. There's a lot of cannon coverage. I think. I mean, it's really hard one way or the other to say exactly what either of these players should do next. It's very reactionary, and we have all the information, so...
Well, you can't just attack each
right,
other.
neither
comps
player
like
can.
this. But I do like what Seed has done with pushing the creep back as well. That's very important. The creep is like too big of an advantage when you have Ultraling. Where is the Mothership Core? Not with that army right now.
Well, it died earlier. I think it just got remade, so it's probably near one of the next side.
Well, that's something you have to be really careful about because his land army is way too slow. Like, we may actually see, well, let's see how well he can do here. See, a great fungal growth. Seed not really being on top of this. This is not the first time we've seen him move just like this. He lost 9 Phoenixes there.
Yeah, that's a ton of gas. Gas he can't really afford to be thrown away right now when you compare these two players' banks. And also consider that his geysers are starting to mine out. Something that, if you look at the 2 bases that are the furthest away, the newest ones for RorO, neither of them actually have taken their gases yet. So that's gas he's got available for him to mine as soon as he wants it.
Very good point. And in fact, he should probably think about taking those pretty soon. And okay, he is. Because really, gas is generally the limiting factor as we get to the end of the game with Zerg. Like, not just the end of the game, but like mined out scenarios. A lot of times it turns out where they're just like, all right, I have so much gas left. What do I do with it?
Yeah. Well, 5 more cannons going up. He's trying to set up for the latest late game possible. That was a nice dodge there.
Yeah, that is exactly the way you got to do it right there.
He needs to secure this base to the 3 o'clock. That's essential for him right now because without that extra gas, eventually he's going to get worn down and RorO might be able to end the game. Some great dodges here this time, but he is playing with fire here.
Yeah, he is.
See, he gets caught, but now he's got the army with him. Yep. Blinks on those infestors.
All right, that actually turned out okay for him. To be able to kill off an infestor. Almost killed the second one there and just taking some fungal damage, that's fine. But Seed is taking another base, and every single base he takes is scarier and scarier for RorO, because at the end of the day, with everything fully upgraded, if the engagements go like kind of normal with these maxed armies, Seed doesn't actually have to have quite as many bases as RorO does. Zerg gets a lot more wasteful in the late game.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is like one thing Ultras are good at is destroying a bunch of structures, breaking through walls.
DTs, man, are really good against this.
Yeah, when there's no detection, they do extra damage to bio as well. And actually, it's Archons do not DTs, but oh, there's some Neurals going down here. Now he's actually going to be able to fight this straight up. He Neurals every single Archon. Now he can actually just kill them once they've done their job.
Very handsome play. That is a lot of gas loss there. Wow, that was really well done.
He loses this base. The base itself doesn't have that much gas left. He loses the infrastructure. All the Stargates were there.
Oh boy, they were. I didn't really think of that, but that's actually kind of important. That is something that could possibly be capitalized on by RorO. But with 11 Phoenixes out, still 7 Archons and 7 High Templars, with 27 Stalkers and all full upgrades, I don't know if I want to go back into Mutas from here. But
well, if you fungal the Stalkers once or twice more, or kill those Phoenixes, which Seed has actually messed up his control on several times already in this very game, might be able to make it work.
I think if you kill those Stargates, though, the best thing you could do is Broodlords, because he's so far from Tempest Tech at the moment, and Tempest builds slower, right? So
yeah,
I think you can actually get a good amount of Broodlords out, and those are going to do very well against a ground army like this.
This is great map movement here by Seed, splitting up his army into 2 parts so he can kill this base and also send down to kill these 2 hatches. Might even split into 3 parts here to make sure he kills every single one of these bases. He's a bit trapped in those bases, but doesn't look like that's something that RorO is going to be able to capitalize right now. Capitalize on. Instead, he's going to attack here into the top right. Now, they're both so light on workers, so killing Harvesters does make it somewhat of a big difference here. We'll see how many probes he can actually kill. Killing the base is the most important part because he's going to then kill those assimilators and then limit the gas mining even further. It's already down to 1,200, but on the other hand, RorO himself down to less than 800 gas. And 11 broods.
All right. It's a really good choice. There's nothing in this composition that does particularly well against that. Oh my god, that is a good fungal right there. But the rest of the army is here, so he will be able to save some of these Phoenixes at least. Not a whole lot. The thing is, these 11 broods, it's really a great timing for that. You just have Stalkers plus Psystorm and Archons to try to break through, and without any Colossus for Broodlings, and without any Tempest or Void Rays to really target down these Broodlords, it can be pretty hard to kill him.
I think the Infestors are so key here, though, because he doesn't have, you know, any other...
Oh god, he lost every Infestor?
Oh, when did that?
Oh wait, no, never mind. I'm absolutely crazy. He has 11 Infestors.
So he needs those Infestors actually, because if they can lock down the army and keep the Broodlords at the back able to do damage, that's what he needs. But if the Stalkers and all those Archons, 7 Archons, get underneath that,
oh totally,
he can beat the Broodlords pretty straight up. And this is arguably, in a sense, because of the lack of gas mining on the map. In fact, he has no gas mining right now. This is kind of RorO's last chance composition. There is no switch into a bunch of Mutas here, or even back into Ultras. The only thing he could switch into is like Mass Zergling, which good luck on that with 7 Archons on the map.
Yeah.
Mass Queen
that would be the best play.
Probably a better choice.
Yeah, this is a little bit rough for RorO in that regard, but he has to know that Seed has almost no income now as well. He's, in fact, got units burrowed all over the place. He should realize that there's almost 0 mining, so... if he pushes slowly and carefully with this towards the bases, maybe he can get it done. But that means that if he's pushing in one direction with this super immobile army of Broodlord, Infestor, Queen, that means his other bases are going to be killed.
And it also means that Seed might be able to secure, not only re-secure his base at the 3, but another base on the map. And he's already rebuilding the infrastructure to get Tempest as he starts to realize that Broodlords are his enemy here. And...
even a handful of Tempests.
Yeah,
2 Tempests
like
is going to be really powerful. If he can get like 4, I feel like he's almost good at that point.
This is a lucky catch here, getting these Stalkers, and gets another great fungal. If he can slowly work his way through this.
He's got to keep these Infestors alive. Just lost another one there. He's down to 9. Not sure exactly how much energy he has on them right now either.
Well, you know, he's able to fight this army for now, and I love how brave he is here with these Mutas, because he can always pull them back, but he needs to keep those, you know, right underneath those Broodlords, and not get feedback and lose them.
He needs to actually remove, like, for instance, that one that just got feedback that's all red and out of energy. He needs to just shift-click that home, because we don't know how long this is going to last. And I know it's just going to stay on that hotkey and die. Like, this is the situation, though, where you babysit every single unit.
Well, with these Tempests coming out, man, I'm really not liking RorO's chances here. He still has no gas mining whatsoever. He has 2 extractors on that base that's like mined out. It looks like he's remade the base to the left side of the map, but he needs to get drones over there and get that gas mining.
Well, in the meantime, we do have an attack over here onto Seed's 1 base that he's really trying to get up. He's warping in some Zealots to deal with this.
Yeah, I mean, he has to. Both players' banks have been relinquished at this point, and there's very little income for both players. I mean, this is desperation graviton beams being used to lift up these Phoenix, because that's where we're at. Yeah. I mean, lift up those Zerglings, excuse me, but...
may as well. Phoenixes aren't going to do well against this composition, that's for sure.
This may be the last fight that we see this game.
I think so. I mean, what else could they possibly fight with? They both have their armies. They both are barely mining anything. It's time.
It's time, Artosis. This 47-minute game may come to an end. Great fungal growths here.
Yes, indeed.
And he needs to keep it up. Storm goes down. You're not hitting a lot of those Infestors. Here come the Corruptors from the left side as well. Needs more damage output, though, here. I feel he can't get those Archons underneath the Broodlords.
Uh-oh. It looks like these Mutas and Corruptors coming up. He has to protect these Tempests. They're very, very important at the moment. And we actually have the Lings counterattacking at this Nexus. He doesn't have enough for another Nexus, so it'd be only long-distance mining if he kills that.
Yep, there's no more answer for the Broodlords. 1 Tempest is not enough, not with no support here. And those Broodlings are starting to chew through the shield to the Archons. He loses his Infestors, but the Zerglings alone might even be able to win this fight at this point.
Oh, man, he can't lose these 3 Archons. He loses 1. It looks like he's going to lose another. He does lose it. Now he's down to so little anti-air, but at the same time, we have no Corruptors and no Mutas left, which means this Tempest, as long as he stays out of Queen range, can actually do amazing work.
Yeah.
And Queens are so slow off creep, like, he could actually be microing the 1 Tempest against this army right now.
He could be, actually.
As long as there's no fungal left on that 1 Infestor. Of course, you don't want to take that risk, but right now, this is looking like a RorO game to me, Wolf.
It certainly is, man. That base at 3 o'clock is totally wiped. There's no mineral income whatsoever. The gas income right now for Seed is so little. It's inconsequential because it doesn't have any minerals to spend it with. Every unit in the game costs some amount of minerals, or how much gas it costs. So he needs the minerals to support the gas. He has not enough minerals to even take a new Nexus. He has 6 probes left on the map. I can't imagine a situation in which 38 army supply with 6 probes is somehow able to eliminate RorO's structures. RorO's basically checkmated him here in Seed. Stays in the game because he knows if he loses it, he goes 0-4 and will be eliminated from Code A yet again.
It's brutal. And you know what? He does have units that can be microed heavily. You can get a lot of value out of units like these.
Yeah, energy units, high-range units.
Yeah, not as much value as we see in this army, though.
No, certainly not. I mean, he's doing that Tempest micro you were talking about.
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to kill that very easily with this army.
Every High Templar he loses is such a big blow. Every unit in general.
We're going to see GG in just a matter of seconds here, Wolf. This is it. The final attack of Seed. It will not be enough.
I really want to see a camera shot of his face right now because
you just want to see him being sad. That's it. GG.
GG.
And RorO goes up to this the final match of today.
Yeah,
for this group at least.
We'll play Classic there, and Seed yet again out of Code A in last place.
Yeah, poor Seed. But you know what? He played that game actually very, very well. Ended up losing. Maybe a few moves he could have done a little tiny bit better, but overall, I do want to say he played nicely.
I have to say,
strong play.
My favorite part about that game was just how good his harassment was. It seemed like his multitasking when it comes to external bases, those satellite expansions, was much better. He was able to constantly identify where they were.
Yep.
And RorO never responded with static defense, but some of the mistakes that he made that cost him big were that bank that he built from having the better amount of bases and denying bases was often thrown away with some miscontrolled Phoenixes walking into Fungals.
It was. He messed that up several times. He wasn't quite aware enough against the Infestors. You have to be if you're going to go for Sky Toss. You can't keep losing that much. Imagine, because he lost like over 30 Phoenixes in that game, and it's okay to lose a decent amount, like lose a fleet maybe one time because you have to remax in something else.
Yeah, you lose like maybe 12 to 15 at one point.
They didn't even really gain that much value, though, against the Mutas, which is really why they're there. So had some mistakes here and there. RorO definitely the better player today. Seed definitely the weakest link in this group.
I have to say, for Seed's sake, I hope that a team does, ask him, would you like to join us? So you can get some sort of team infrastructure going in Korea, because, if he doesn't, I just have to wonder how much longer can he keep doing this.
Don't know. We'll see if he's back next season. But for now, we're going to go ahead, jump to a quick commercial break, and when we come back, we'll see who will get out. Will it be RorO as you thought with Tails, or will it be Classic? Don't go anywhere.